morning. It's Thursday, February 1st. Thanks so much for joining us for this edition of Up to the Minute. I'm Sade Campbell, the Strategic Enrollment Communications and Social Media Manager here at Houston Community College. Pleased to be joined by my student success colleague, Dr. Rima Adil, who serves as HCC Northwest as Dean of Student Success. Good morning, Rima.
Good morning, Sade.
Well, February 1st marks a couple of milestones, and for us in student services, we're coming to an end of peak registration. We made it through winter storms and peak registration. And so for those who are watching or maybe watching a playback, let them know everywhere where they can catch Up to the Minute.
We are live on the Houston Community College District Facebook page and YouTube. We are also on X, LinkedIn, and on HCCTV at noon, 5 and 10 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Thank you so much for that. Well, in addition to us closing out our peak registration, Thursday marks on Up to the Minute, our Family Fun Day, and it is February 1st, and that marks the start of Black History Month. We're featuring a national museum that's right here in Houston and across the street from our HCC Central campus. Coming to join us to kick off our Black History Month series is Cale Carter, the Director of Exhibitions at the Center for African American Military History, aka the Buffalo Soldiers National Museum. Welcome to the show, Cale.
Thank you, ma'am, for welcoming me. How are you doing today?
I am doing great. You and Rima are going to have a great conversation about what HCC considers a partner and a treasure right across the street from us. But first, we're going to spotlight one of HCC's newest partners and the largest and oldest higher ed nonprofit dedicated to civic and community engagement. Pleased to welcome to the show Raven Cooper, who's the Houston Program Coordinator for CRCorps. Welcome to the show, Raven.
Hi, Sade. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. HCC is always looking at how do we extend the reach of our impact into the community, because after all, community is in our name. So pleased to be partnering with you, but to give our viewers some context, we recently started this partnership with Campus Compact. And what is it and how is it related to CRCorps? Did I get that right? Am I getting CRCorps and Campus Compact? Clear it up for the people for it.
Yes, it's a few moving parts, but yes, so we are CRCorps, which is College Renaissance Corps. We just shortened it, which is a national service leadership program or a AmeriCorps service program under the organization Campus Compact. So we're just an extension of Campus Compact under their AmeriCorps programs. And so with CRCorps, as I mentioned, it's just a new service leadership program partnering with community colleges, in this case, HCC, to empower the voices of community college students, especially in high demand fields. We know that there are a lot of these high demand fields that are experiencing labor shortages. And then we also understand that community colleges is a big pool of an untapped market. And so our program essentially is that bridge to showcase these students and say, hey, we have an excellent amount of talented individuals with the same quality, if not better, education that you would typically get at a four-year or university. And so that's what our program essentially wants to do, give those students those voices that they typically wouldn't have.
Got you. So it sounds like it's two arms. It sounds like it's an arm where you all are supporting students with the resources to get into these high demand fields, but also an arm around you all having student ambassadors to make sure that more people understand what resources are available for them to get into these high demand fields.
Yeah, Sade, that is exactly right. So the positions that we're actually recruiting for now we refer to them as industry ambassadors. So the ambassador is essentially what our students would be doing. So it encompasses a few different things. So they'll have the professional development experience, which typically once you're getting your technical skills, the professional development piece is a key piece that's sometimes missing. How do we translate all of our skills that we learn whenever we're networking or actually trying to compete in the workforce? So we assist them with that professional development. Also, we provide networking opportunities. So we partner with industry partners to give our ambassadors experiences on site to kind of get into the minutia of all of these industry partners to see and get some insight that they'll be willing to share that's typically maybe not shared generally to the public. Also, with that, because we are a service program, a service leadership program, we also participate in civic engagement activities. And so that just means as a community, we work together to address issues that we're facing in our community, which right now is college access, more specifically, community college access, as well as addressing the economic challenges as well. And the fun part that I love the most, you think of it in the sense of an influencer. We all know influencers typically use social media and they're typically selling our products. In our case, our ambassadors are much more substantial. They're influencers, but they're influencers for HCC and then their particular field of study. And we'll do that by providing them social media platforms to tell the story in their eyes, because anyone essentially can go on a college website, look at the credit hours and see kind of the what's written in black and white, and they can research that. But we're giving our ambassadors a chance to tell their story so others can see how does that translate and how do I juggle college with also the other hats that typical community college students juggle.
Yeah, so I want to lean into that a little bit. So around the ambassador program, what I'm hearing is it is a position, a paid position, which I think definitely want to amplify. And there, some students may be familiar with the history of AmeriCorps and how that is connected to helping funding of an education. You all have really looked at, okay, so we're going to provide the job training. We're going to provide and build you up in those soft skills through this ambassador program, all while connecting you with employers and preparing you for a career in industry, in a career in something that is in demand. So I think we kind of zoom past what does in demand mean. I think we hear that all the time. So what programs are you all focused on?
Yes, so there are some top programs that we're focusing on that are experiencing labor shortages, but they're also high demand jobs. And so those areas that we're focusing on are manufacturing, welding, logistics, IT, and healthcare. Yes, manufacturing, logistics, IT, healthcare, welding, and engineering. So we know that is a broad group of programs. So we also understand underneath those programs are a plethora of different avenues that you could take. So essentially, we're recruiting for students who are in those fields to elevate the voices and to showcase not only the quality of education at HCC, but also how they're maneuvering as a student within their field of study.
Okay, so we may have two types of students who are listening. We may have those that are thinking about coming to HCC. We may also have those that are already enrolled in the program. And I think the part I don't want them to miss is what does that look like for a funding opportunity for their education? Because we wouldn't want them to think about coming into these in-demand fields and not know that there's a resource to help fund it.
Yes, so that's actually another cool part about the program that I actually love. As you mentioned earlier, because you're dedicating your time and you're providing your time, you are able to earn what we call a living allowance. So that's about $19.85 an hour at about 24 hours a week. That's part-time. And so that looks like a bunch of different ways. We really like to stand on the fact that our program is flexible because, again, we understand that students have a lot of things outside of school to focus on. So that's why we want to give that benefit of saying, hey, we know you're dedicating your time and we know that you have other things going on. So we provide that living wage. And that is, again, it's just like essentially any other position, you would get that biweekly. Also, at the end of the term, you get a scholarship or what we call an education award. So it's in the amount of about 4,800 that you can additionally use for other educational expenses. And so also another cool thing about it, if you say, hey, I don't necessarily need to use this on educational expenses, if after 7 years you don't use the education award, you can pass that on to a family member. So you can essentially set your children or any other family member already up to help in assist with those educational expenses. And then also you get to be a part of AmeriCorps, which is a super recognizable national organization. We like to refer to it as a society, but you don't have to pay for it. You're essentially just dedicating your time and doing what you love. So
Yeah, absolutely. So we've run out of time. I want to wrap out with you all are actively recruiting and accepting the top 15 applications of our HCC students in our programs, manufacturing, information technology, welding, engineering, and logistics. If that is you, if that is somebody you know, share this interview with them. And Raven, tell them real quick, 5 seconds, how can they contact you?
yes, CRCorps, HOU at compact.org. We are also having an info session today. Just email us and we'll set you up with the information. Only 15 slots that we're looking to recruit by February 21st.
All right. So February 21st, you heard the deadline. Don't wait till the last minute. Thank you so much, Raven Cooper, Houston Program Coordinator for CRCorps. We'll have information posted after the show with details. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm going to kick it over to my co-host, Rima, who has an awesome interview lined up.
All right. Thank you, Sharday. This was a great segment. We love a student ambassador program, so we'll get the word out. Moving on to Cale Carter, Director of Exhibitions, Center of African American Military History, also known as Buffalo Soldiers National Museum. Cale, welcome to the show.
Thank you, ma'am, for having me on the show now.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing pretty well. Yourself?
I am good. Thank you so much. So before we even start, a happy Black History Month as we are kicking it off today, February 1st.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Let's begin with some background on how the Buffalo Soldiers are and how were they created, when were they created?
So when people tend to refer to Buffalo Soldiers, they're referring to Black soldiers who served in the regular army after the Civil War. And in particular, they tend to refer to 4 regiments, the 9th and 10th Cavalry and 24th and 25th Infantry Regiments. So that's pretty much the core of when they tend to refer to Buffalo Soldiers. They served from 1866 till about 1951, and with the last unit being deactivated shortly after during the Korean War. So.
Oh, that is awesome. We are going to all learn something today. So tell us about the museums. What is your mission and history? How did you all start?
So the mission of the museum is to educate the public to the contributions of both Black soldiers as well as other soldiers who served alongside those Black soldiers and the contributions they made to basically serving with the U.S. military, but also how their military service connects to other aspects of the Black community and other communities, such as social issues, like basically economic issues and the like. So.
And about Blue Helmets in Action Traveling Exhibition, what is that?
So
tell us a little bit about that.
So the Blue Helmets exhibition is an exhibition that was created to discuss the history of the 93rd Infantry Division in World War II. The 93rd was one of the first of 3 all-Black combat divisions raised during the war, and it was the only one to see service in the Pacific Theater. And the idea behind creating the exhibition is to try to draw awareness to the accomplishments of the 93rd, but also try to just draw general attention to the unit. When people tend to talk about Black soldiers in World War II, they tend to focus on the 92nd Infantry Division. But the 93rd had a lot of accomplishments, and there's a lot of also misconceptions about the division as well. So that's kind of the reason why we created it, to try to basically draw more attention and kind of dispel some misconceptions about the unit.
Very nice. So what would you say, what is the legacy of Buffalo Soldiers?
Well, the legacy of Buffalo Soldiers is kind of multi-pronged. So you have the military legacy in terms of Black folks as well as others who serve in the military today, but you also have a social and a social justice and then advocacy aspect to it as well, in terms of advocacy for civil rights, advocacy for better conditions and stuff like that. So like when we tend to talk to legacy, it's not just military, it's also involving the community as well.
So I know you all are doing a great job bringing a lot of rich history to Houston and among other museums out there. You all are located in the medical center?
No, man, we're located on the corner of Caroline Street and Alabama Street, so we're literally right across from the HCC's main campus.
Oh, perfect. All right. So is it open to public? Can we come in? Can we reserve the facility for
Well,
students, bring in tours?
well, in order to request tours, you have to go online and request them. And normally it's ideal that you request them 2 weeks in advance. But otherwise, we do accept people who walk into the museum. Walk-ins, the museum is open from Tuesday to Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. On Thursday, we do have a free admission period between 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Oh, in terms of general admission fee, the general admission fee is $10 a person unless you are a student or a senior or a military veteran. And if you are in those categories, then there's $5 admission fee.
So tell us the February event. I know we are celebrating Black History Month, and this is very timely. So do you have any special programming lined up?
Yes, and we have quite a few. So on today, we actually celebrate the public opening of the Blue Helmets in Action exhibition. So pretty much it's included with the admission fee. So basically, if you wish to see it, all you have to do is come and visit and you'll be able to see it. On this Saturday, on February 3rd, we will be having a living history program from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And it features Louis Padilla, who is a living history interpreter who's going to be portraying the life of a Buffalo soldier on the frontier. On the 10th of February, we're going to be having a film screening of a historic movie called The Negro Soldier, which is from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And the event is free and open to the public. And on the 17th, after that, we're going to be participating with the Midtown Black History Month. It's an offsite event, but we'll be there to show support. And then on the 24th, we will be having another living history program that includes Alan Mack, who founded the Living History Foundation, and will cover pretty much the involvement of Black soldiers from the Civil War era up to the interwar period.
This is very nice. So we historians have no reason to not learn about Black history, and you all have a lot of offerings lined up. Great job. So tell me, this is my understanding, you all are looking for volunteers?
Yes, ma'am. We are looking for volunteers to assist with guiding tours as well as doing other things around the museum. So if anyone's interested in being a volunteer, please reach out to the museum via email and kind of put in the tagline that, hey, you're seeking to help assist with volunteer information. So pretty much, yeah, that's the best way to contact us.
So we can also bring you here at HCC if we want to bring some programming here. Would you be open to partnering those?
Yes, ma'am. I think we're supposed to be participating in an event that's supposed to be happening over there recently. So, that's going to be upcoming event.
Oh, this is awesome. So tell me a little more. What are your plans for Black History Month? Anything special other than the programming at the museum that you are doing?
Well, pretty much it's probably going to be the programming at the museum. We're going to be in preparation after we go through Black History Month, preparing for other exhibitions that will be occurring. We're going to be doing a series of talks through the museum to explore other subjects in Black military history throughout the year, because this year is the 80th anniversary of 1944, and it's a significant year involving Black troops that both in Europe and the Pacific in World War II. So.
What else do you want to share about the museum to our audience?
Well, the main thing I want to share is that in terms of the programming as well as the subject matter we're covering, we're going through a process where we're basically revitalizing the museum in the sense of, in the past, the museum tended to focus primarily on the Western frontier, but we're moving into other eras and trying to cover other eras as well as other connections that Black soldiers had to other communities as well. So basically, we're getting to a point where we're trying to expand and basically build more so on the legacy aspect of not only the Buffalo Soldiers, but Black military service in the United States. So.
That is awesome. So, Cale, we also have a student ambassador program. We will be bringing some student ambassadors to some of this program. I think it will be very beneficial. But thank you for being here at our show. Cale Carter, Director of Exhibition, Center of African American Military History, also known as Buffalo Soldiers National Museum. We will have your info in our post after the show. Back to you, Sade. Thank you.
All right, thanks so much for that. Always, I think that was a perfect interview to kick off Black History Month. We're going to wrap things out with our events and announcements happening around HCC. First up, our barber program is offering free haircuts on Tuesday and Wednesday at our central campus, and our cosmetology program will offer free services on Tuesday at our East Side and North Line campuses. Again, free haircuts will be happening from 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Tuesday and Wednesday at our central campus, and our cosmetology services will be happening at 9 a.m. to noon Tuesdays at our East Side and North Line campuses. Be sure to check out details posted after the show to see how you can get in on those free services.
Next, we have adult CPR and pediatric first aid community learning program. HCC Community Learning Program will host these in-person sessions that include CPR and non-healthcare AED on 3 consecutive Wednesdays in February. Classes are just $45 and students are required to attend all 3. Wednesdays, February 7th, February 14th, and February 21st. Marshall Center for Advanced Careers. Check our post after the show for more info.
All right, in our HCC Academic Success Centers house our tutors, and beyond their one-on-one personal support, they also host virtual workshops to provide the space to learn more about practicing study strategies, forming those academic habits, and more. I often tell students the best thing you can do when you start college is learn how you learn. So these workshops really do lean into that. Check our post after the show to find out dates, times of the workshops, and learn more about our Academic Success Centers.
Next, we have Southeast Exhibition. Professor Gisette Padilla. The artist's work and research has explored various aspects of her identity, both individually and culturally. Some works were initiated during the Printing Museum of Houston Artists in Residency program. Now through May 10th, HCC East Side, Felix Morales Wedge Space Arts Lab. Artist reception is 6 p.m. on Friday, March 1st. Registration is free and it is not necessary. Everyone is welcome. Check our post after the show for more info.
All right, if you haven't heard of our Eagle Promise program, you need to hear about it and share it with a recent high school graduate. It's an opportunity to earn your degree for free at HCC. If grants and scholarships don't cover the cost of a degree or certificate at HCC, the Eagle Promise scholarship dollars will help cover the gap. This includes tuition, fees, and a book allowance of up to $500 each semester. The deadline is approaching, so be sure to check the details out after the show.
And last but not least, spring classes have begun, but it is not too late to register. HCC 16-week spring classes have begun, but students can still register for those as well as second start classes, which begin February 12th. All courses are either in person, online, or hybrid. Just so that you are aware, online anytime classes has no established class meeting time unless listed. Online on a schedule, meeting time is set and course meets online. Our hybrid classes, our lecture class meets partially face-to-face and partially virtually. In person, my favorite classes, face-to-face, courses with traditional meeting patterns at various campuses and locations. And finally, hybrid laboratory studio courses. To learn more about HCC programs, start dates, and options to cover costs, visit hccs.edu/apply.
All right. Yes, definitely time to still get in for spring. So make sure you connect with one of our support staff to learn what opportunities are available. Well, tomorrow for Film Friday, we'll welcome the Alamo Draft House, one of the first to bring us the cinema, dining, and drinking experience. And James Mabel, our Director of Career Services, will tell us about his new role as Director of HCC's new Alumni Affairs Association. Thanks so much for joining us for this edition of Up to the Minute. We'll see you next time.